picks come out early on from BDSA, the Thresh and Diana taken out. And on the other end, Akshan, Lulu, and also that Yumi. So a lot of Enchanter bans. I think Sean ban's a little bit surprised for me, but why not? You know, Aggressive Wu has been spamming that top lane, so not a bad ban at all.
The Akali ban comes out next, so I might be looking for a first pick. Oh, never mind. I was going to say Corki. But
yeah,
they just lock in that Lee Sin for Skeens.
Yeah, yes they do. Right at the beginning, like you mentioned, Skeens has been an absolute monster on the pick and the Lee Sin so far. We've seen so many talented players within the LFL have taken this pick and absolutely run away with it. We've seen so far just how impactful it can be in terms of early tempo, but that should be the exact trade with the Xin Zhao and Shio. As I like to say, Surgical Shield has been absolutely exact in trying to match all these engages, with BDSA looking to pick up the LeBlanc as well for Gio.
Well, hovering the LeBlanc. We'll see if they actually lock it in, because Lissandra is still open, and we all know that is the counter for a LeBlanc.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. It can be definitely a nice nullifier, right? But we haven't seen too much of Lissandra in the meta so far, especially considering a little bit of a nerfs, and then LeBlanc can be a big roaming pick. But with the Akali ban out as well from BDSA, they decide instead to prioritize more of the Jinx, which is completely understandable. But here's the thing, though. Caitlyn is still open, but with that not being prioritized, I would expect something like Aphelios to come out, right? But instead, Vitality do actually prioritize getting the GP. Now, although I'm sure that's still an Ornn hover though, but GP is a pick we actually have not seen since week 1, where Mistress played it up against Carmine, and they get Orianna for the mid. So good, safe mage.
I do like this from Vitality with the ball deliverer in the Lee Sin. So their comp is kind of looking to come together with Skeens also zoning. So or not Skeens, Gangplank is zoning. So they have a lot of zoning tools to keep BDSA away from them with the Orianna ball and the Gangplank ult, and then the Lee Sin Qs, throw those in there too. So their comp is actually looking pretty good right now.
Yeah, for sure. And we see on the other end, by BDSA, they do manage to come out and counter that with a Karma as well. So those would be quite nice, just to make sure you can get a lot of those speed ups. Those shields can be crucial, especially with the AD carry like Jinx, and trying to get out of those cannon barrages is gonna be quite nice, considering how much of a dive heavy composition we'll see if Vitality tried to pick up. Now on the other end, they take out the Jace and the Rakan as well. So a lot more dive options taken out by BDSA. I imagine this should be another support ban just to limit what they can do into the composition.
I think maybe they ban out the Caitlyn or the Aphelios here. I think they might actually start to pinch the AD carry pool, because there's been quite a few supports and the gym ban comes in. But I mean, I feel like leaving Aphelios open is still kind of dangerous, although he doesn't have the safety of a Thresh or a Lulu with him, so maybe he won't get picked here. But I'm not really sure what you do pick with this composition. That would be the only other pick would be the Aphelios really into the Jinx.
I mean, yeah, there are definitely a fair amount of compositions that we've also seen, just certain other picks, like just even the mage bottoms that have been popping up here and there, right? And I find, in terms of ADC picks, although this can kind of back and forth though, but for Vitality, I know for Jeskla, Ezreal is very much an option as well if they wanted to pick a much of roaming support, right? Especially into the Jinx. And although Jhin cannot necessarily come out here, I've seen rumblings of a Twitch. Now, I'm not going to get any of your hopes up, right? But I know these are many other options too. But in terms of support pool as well, I'm going to hold my breath on this, because I know Jessica's definitely just hovering in, considering already the Lee Sin picked up. So I absolutely doubt it. But we'll wait for that to come in, as it is another mage v mage matchup in the mid lane between Diplex and Gio. So victor v Orianna, we saw this last game, and that'll likely be the pickup with the Varus.
I'm not sure how I like this lock-in of the Varus here. Maybe pair it with a Nautilus, but into the Jinx, I feel like you just get out DPS really easily, and so I don't know if I'm feeling this Varus pick right now. On-hit Varus, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, definitely could be interesting, right? Considering what we had so far, Varus definitely has kind of fallen on the meta as of late, and considering all the pitches towards the ADC pool, like you were saying before, he does need a solid hard CC support with him, and Leona does exactly that. I find Varus can still be quite good for the team fights. We're looking at single target damage and lockdown, which is a lot of what Vitality offers, right? You're looking to make sure that you're going for more of these picks, especially with the GP and alongside the Orianna and Lee Sin, right? Varus can offer exactly that, and plus with a little bit of safety if they potentially want to disengage or want to make sure that nobody just dives on top of them. The hard CC with the Leona, that solo flare, and just point and click stun are quite nice. And the final pick will be the Ornn for BDS. We've seen aggressive Who on this pick here before too, and the Ornn has been such a priority pick throughout all of the LFL.
All today. All today. I think he's either been, picked or banned all day today.
Yeah.
But, like, right there, the Ornn actually takes away what Vitality's comp kind of wants to do in a way. Like,
and here we are, ladies and gentlemen, for the fourth game of the night between Vitality and BDS. Diplex spots out the early engage bottom side, so nothing to be had, not much doing there, but at least he'll know that it might be a potential his bot lane start for the side of BDSA.
But a ward just comes down from the Karma, who will maybe take a Was it the Karma that dropped? I mean, I guess both Zinzao and Karma dropped their wards, so they do know if the Lee Sin is going to start bottom side, and I do think that he might want to path up to this top side. Like, I feel like this Ornn into Gangplank lane is could turn out very volatile. Whereas in bot lane, I think both lanes are pretty safe. So pathing top, I think here is actually a good idea from Skeens.
Yeah, I definitely don't disagree with you, right? Because considering just Ornn to GP, I find GP can be pretty decent into the Ornn we've seen, but Ornn is just so large. A lot of his role doesn't necessarily depend on being able to kill his lane opponent, right? He's not the Ornn of yore that he once was as just a man who can do it all between assassin, bruiser, tank, and so much more. But for now, we should see it's a bit of a slower start between both these teams. We see junglers turning off on opposite ends of the map, so Shio naturally looking to possibly push down bottom side. We should see a push in though from Crowning and Erdote up against Jessica and Jack Troll, but considering both these guys, not a ton of poke, and Erdote should be looking to just chunk down Leona, but considering about level 3, Leona is just the tankiest thing in the world.
Well, I mean, I do see, and also Shio,
yeah.
Shio pathing down to his bot lane, knowing that lane could potentially explode for him if he can get that Jinx ahead, because an ahead Jinx is something pretty scary if you ask me. Like, you don't want to mess with that one. So,
Yeah.
Both junglers are gonna cross paths and pathing directly opposite from each other, so they might both get a crab here, and just in the mid lane, you just see Orianna getting poked out pretty hard by this Victor, so.
Yeah, we've seen how just how volatile sometimes these mage matchups can be, right? Especially considering against Orianna and Victor. We saw this matchup, I believe, about once already before, and both of these laners are looking to just scale at least until late. Orianna does bring out a lot of usefulness once she gets to about 6, but one big thing that we can see is a lot more setup for ganks, especially off of Skeens too, so we might potentially see an early push off of Diplex if he wants to shut down Zeke or at least make a play to try to get his flash. For now though, Skeens looks to be pathing topside, considering this agenda has already pushing in the aggressive Vu, so I can't imagine we see a ton of ganks this early on from either one of the junglers.
Yeah. But you saw the pings come down on that top side. They do know that Lee Sin could potentially be in his top side jungle, so I don't know if you saw those pings, but they do have an inkling of an idea of where Lee Sin started, as they did put down wards and where he could potentially be going. But because of that wave being pushed in under tower with GP and the Ornn, there is not really any gank opportunity for him, so I think both junglers are taking a reset. We're going to see what they're going to decide to do from here.
Yeah, because you see, like you said, they just simply trade crabs on opposite ends of the map, right? And there should be a lot of the pace that we see for at least until about just the first 10 minutes of the game. Both BDS and Vitality are not going to try to overextend and go for unnecessary trades between either one of these squads, though. Especially from BDSA, we saw last week, it was two very different looks. Now, up against the Carmine game, they got rolled, if we're being honest, right? Aggressivu was not a play of the game, and Carmine, especially with Cabishard on the Renekton, did a phenomenal job. And the
The
next day,
tracking of junglers in this game is actually incredible. Everybody on both these teams, like you said, they both want to play slow. So their ability to track junglers and know the jungle camp timers in this game, and they are pinging them, knowing exactly where these junglers are, is actually incredible to see them track the junglers so well. To this level. Like right now they do have push and bot and mid, so they could go for the dragon, but maybe they don't want to risk it, Vitality, you know, being the team that they are, but they could with both they have push in all three lanes, so they could take a free Drake here.
Yeah, we see as well aggressive. TP's down on the top side, and Askeens goes into the bot lane. You know, he does before starting recalls though, but both Crownshot and Dirty are very aware of his presence, and they won't really get much out of it except a pretty solidified push, like you were mentioning. He won't try to go for the dragon, but simply go back to just farming more and more of his camp. So consider he didn't get an exact significant lead out of it either. And considering Crowny and Dirty stayed behind the match to push the lane out again, considering they are Jinx and Karma, so not much to be had out of that. By the end of it was a go back to the same neutral state. But considering Shio did see Skeens early their bot side and probably knew that he would like to try to reset, he takes advantage of that and the push bot lane and to get the first dragon.
I do think that Vitality could have capitalized on that Drake, but maybe they are looking to play for the Herald, as we do know that they are a very calculated team, so they could just be giving that over and saying, hey, you take this side of the coin, but we're going to take the Herald in about a minute's time, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So that's probably what they are looking to do. As you can see, the GP reset coming in. TPs were burned out of both the Ornn and the Victor, so I mean, they won't really matter because of it's not unleashed teleport yet.
Yeah, for sure. 14 minutes has been a big marker, but I find TP might not necessarily be just the biggest factor that we focus on for this agenda, right? Considering that Cannon Barrage is not online. And if they want to try to turn a team fight or potentially siege upon a potential tower, that would be the way to do it. And like you're mentioning, Red Herald should be the next target for both of these teams. As you see, early vision is already being set up by Vitality, their top side as well. They do have 3 wards going all the way down river. And with the crowd control as well, this should be an early move if they want to take it. Considering the Waves top side is just right out in the middle, but still pushing for it.
Will get pushed in, I do believe, by Shaganda.
You got it.
Yeah. Hard. Jeez. And Orianna does have push in mid, but it looks like she is going to make a play bot side. But as you said, crown shot on his vision.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
He has everything warded. He wants nothing coming his way that he doesn't know about.
For sure, yeah. We've seen the duo of crown shot and Vitality.Bee phenomenal at controlling their lanes, but yet again, all the attention being played by Diplex and Skeens, wanting to try to make a dive, but the wave just simply not in position. So that's twice that we've seen all these users go down bot, even their own from Diplex too. And considering his wave was at a pretty good place, so didn't lose almost anything out of it. But from here, we'll see if she decides to capitalize on it yet again. Dragon is not up for another 3 minutes though, but if Skeens tries to reset, this could be easy Rift Herald take.
Yeah, but as you can see, Shio is bot side right now, and he is on vision, so it looks like they might potentially go for... Actually, no, it looks like they're going to collapse onto their bot side and maybe try to dive this. This is very slow play. They are very, very calculated. They are looking for a pick, I believe, before even thinking to go ward that Rift Herald.
Yeah, for sure. We see Shio just kind of, roaming around and mirroring his bot side to make sure that Skeens doesn't get any funny ideas and decides to dive them yet again. When Shio goes up, checks the Raptors. A little bit of training between these two junglers, but the mid lane can try to collect on it. Jack Troll is here.
Yep.
Lands his Zenith Blade onto one, and there we go. There's a Crescent Guard as well. And the Cannon Barrage trying to turn it, all that damage, and it won't even be needed. That's a 1-for-1 trade. And Jack Troll has a flash away, but Diplex is immobilized. The Ignite ticking down. He's no mana on him. Erdote trying to go over. Crown Shot roams up as well, but they just simply cannot get in range. A 1-for-1 by the end of it.
And that was a trade of jungler for mid laner. Yeah, so I think Skeens is going to be a little bit behind off of that play. But Zinzao from ahead, a little bit scary. At least Jinx didn't have anything to do with any of that.
Yeah, for sure. A Fed Jinx can be definitely terrifying. as you see.
Terrifying.
Yeah, it's just how strong they can be. But like you mentioned it, right? Shio catches Skeens early on, and times Raptors previously. He did that before as well when they got towards the Dragon, so he knew exactly when that would be up. And an easy roam down as well from Diplex, who we've seen has managed to keep the push onto Zico, which is natural until Zico manages to at least upgrade both his laser and his Q. Should not be able to match all the clear potential of the Orianna.
But as you can see here, both the bot lane of BDSA has rotated towards this Rift Herald, knowing that it's going to go down. But so it's going to be a 5 versus 5. It looks like in this topside river, unless
here goes in the immediate mobilization off the one. He's completely gone. And Dunzo, a very nice picks up, and with the jungler gone, that'll give Vitality immediate priority. But instead, they use the Ornhorn. The knockup on Jess. That's a double knockup, too. Beautifully set up by aggressive Vu, and that roam the flash over the wall. And they get two. And
Zico was doing a great job right there, zoning Duplex and Jack Troll away from that fight with his E on the Victor. So that was very well played from BDSA. And like you said, this is going to be Vitality's test, and I think they are starting to fall apart just a little bit in terms of look at the vision line that BDSA has right now in terms of control.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's just a bit too early to call it, right? Because considering Vitality, although they only lose one fight, Rift Herald might be gone, but goals still very even between these two teams, and no real laner has taken a extremely aggressive hold on top of the game though. But at least this will be a nice pickup for BDSA to get the second Dragon off of a very well set up fight, and I'm very happy to see Aggressive who was getting more involved in these as well. I know we were talking about it a little bit in the previous week. BDSA had literally a back and forth week, right? With one game up against Gamers Award, they seemed very, very dominant. They seemed to have the exact control of the entire game, and they could not respond to anything as Jessica is simply dead. Oh, the safeguard will not save him, but it's a solo flare, and Jack Troll capitalized onto one, so it'll be a trade. Top laner for ADC, Jessica, immobile AD carry with no flash, and aggressive Vu yet again with a proactive play.
It looks like that was a huge mistake out of Jessica right there to be where he was with no one in the vicinity to help him. Maybe he didn't see the Orin, but he's kind of hard not to see. But I feel like this is a bit of desperation going for this, trying to go for that Herald, and that's why I think they swapped Jessica up to the top lane, thinking that Jack Troll would follow, but Jack Troll was a little bit late on that rotation, so Jessica was stuck up there a little bit too long, as we saw, and he did have to give his life for.
But you see right now, Shio might have to give his life. Locked in the middle, the stun gonna come out, and there we go. Very nice shockwave to make sure to capitalize on that. And there is the entire collapse onto Shio as well. There we go. That's Q gone right away. Vitality finding their moment and taking advantage of it. The rocket will hit, but luckily everybody stays alive. It's a little bit too fast.
That was a close one.
Yeah, it was. I had to hold my breath there for a couple of seconds. But like you said, at least from there, BDSA, although they lose a couple off of it, they will manage to get just at least one plate by the end of it, only going over here. I would say so the support's not too bad. But
both
will come over
teams want this Herald really badly, and you can see remnants of them trying to collect it by sending their AD carries and supports up to the top lane, but neither team can actually get this Herald, so the plates are probably going to fall before this first Herald is even picked up. And I feel like that's a win probably for both of these teams with how slow that they do play, so they are not going to be breaking open any towers anytime soon with that Herald, so I guess it's a win for BDSA and Vitality, but that was a really clean fight out of Vitality right there. That, like I said in the draft, that the mobility of the Lee Sin with the Orianna and the ball, that is just a combo you do not want to mess with, because if you get locked down and then you get kicked, like, you are CC'd for a long time.
Yes, you are indeed. Yeah, a lot of burst potential and big team fight too is between the two, but As you see, BDSA, they have the bot side push, so, and consider they also sense agenda to go to respond to it. They immediately take away aggressive. I would no top laner from Jigo either. That will mean that BDSA will finally get this Rift Herald. Jessica and Jackstrol looking over the side, knowing they can't do much about it by the end of it, but at least this little Crown Shot and her Dote a chance to push in this top wave and likely capitalize with this on the Rift Herald as well, considering they shouldn't actually have to push, and unless, you know, Skeens might have something to say about it. He is in the lane.
Actually, now that I think about it, this Jinx is actually quite fed, as she did get, I think, 5 plates in the bot side.
But we see she looking to go in as well. Wind does not become lightning, so they can't go on to Skeens, sadly. But lenses come out of Crown Shot, look to turn it. The rocket will miss as they go into the tower. Skeens taking a lot of damage between the two. Where Dote and Crown Shot to back away. There's no mana on Crown Shot, so the rockets will not come out as Shio has to barely limp away the arrow. Missing it by a hair. Good sidestep by Shio.
What an extended team fight. As you can see that Vitality.Bee are very comfortable in these extended team fights, whereas I think BDSA kind of runs out of juice really quickly because once the wind becomes lightning is on cooldown, they kind of lose their engage if Ornn isn't there as well. So in these extended trades, I do think that Vitality.Bee does win out with the poke that Varus has to offer and duplex. So without Zico there, did I say that right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, Zico there isn't that as much poke to be poked out.
Yeah. Exactly as you're saying, right? Just definitely in longer set of trades, right? As long as Jessica can be landing these arrows, but might not need to right now. Shio yet again almost dove upon, but as both these teams look around the dragon, there's 8 seconds left until potential soul point for BDSA. I just summoned the Rift Herald to push out mid. A lot of vision control there between these two teams. Skeens, Jackstrol, Diplex, and Jeskla want to try to clear out in much of the way as possible, but it should be able to stop the first charge from coming in, and yeah, there's enough wave to do so. So BDSA potentially waves the Rift Herald, but by the end of it, that does give them priority over this dragon, which will be taken over by BDSA. That's soul point for themselves.
And this is a Infernal Soul, by the way. I think everybody on the side of BDSA, all these champions, love the Infernal
but they're going on to watch agenda. Locked up. Look at that big rocket, and boom goes the Pirate. Another really well set up pick off of the dragon that BDSA got for themselves as well as they continue to extend their lead. Diplex and Skeens will try to respond by at least taking the top tower, which they will definitely get. So 2 for 1 in terms of tower trade, but from here, BDSA keeping a little bit more momentum in this game.
I mean, like, this game is pretty even right now. There's only about, 1k gold, if that. Between them, and so I think right now these teams are going to probably focus on getting these mid towers down, because once those go down, it opens up the map a lot more. But when you see the vision control that BDSA does have in this bottom side river, there was no way that Vitality.Bee could have walked in to that fight for the Drake. It wasn't a possibility, I don't think, for them, and if they did, then more of them would have died. But I do think Shigenda was caught out of position on that side of the pit, and that is a mistake from him, from his positioning.
Speaking of Kato, for now we see Vitality roaming up S3 toward the top side. The Crown Shot and along with aggressive. His backside looking to clear out more of that vision like you were talking about. But Zico slowed down. Dote is there to clear him out, and there we go. That's the power of the Karma, especially with Shio as well on the backside to make sure that they can act as a big bodyguard. He is suited up on the Zinja, so wants to make sure that nobody goes onto his immobile mid laner. For now, the speaking mid lane, Crown Shot yet again, battling up against Jeskla, trying to collect as many waves as possible. Both these ADCs, like you mentioned, looking at least knock down the mid tower, but with the flash on Zico, they might be looking to at least get that out of him. Won't be able to do so. They're a little bit far off there instead of just pushing him on the tower. We do see a lot of members of BDSA mirroring him.
there are quite a few members of BDSA up here, as well as from the side of Vitality. So it looks like they're just trying to match each other in terms of pressure on the map. As you can see, both top laners are bot side, both mid laners are top side, and the bot lane has been moved to mid. So they are really trying to siege onto these mid towers and push into, like, make sure that they have pressure in these bot sides so that they can teleport into the if a fight breaks out mid. So it is very, like you said in the draft, very controlled play out of both these teams. They know exactly what each other wants to do at any given moment, and they are able to play to that side of the map.
For sure, yeah, and we've seen this as well with how BDSA has been shifting their bot lane around, towards these different lanes and making sure they can try to prioritize knocking down a lot of these towers, especially with bot side. It was to try to get just Rift Hurdle 2, which they didn't manage to do so, and using that priority to try to at least push that mid. They got Soul Point, and even after that too, Crown Shot with him staying there almost the entire time, and Adore to be able to roam around. They also got the mid tower as well, so tower advantage not necessarily in either favor, but I found BDSA just seemed to have a bit more control across the entire map. And like you mentioned, that vision control and those lines can continue to extend past for them, especially with the mid tower knockdown and the next dragon that being sold for BDSA in 1 minute and 20 seconds.
They're trying to get this push in mid, I think, right now, so they can set up vision into the enemy jungle. As you can see the Karma moving in, probably to put a ward down or clear out some vision. But I think that this is a fight that Vitality.Bee do need to take, because giving this Infernal Drake, or Infernal Soul actually, over to BDSA on all of these champs is a dangerous game that you're playing with, and it that flashback.
Close call, back and forth, the backflappers from Adote was so clean, but Sally's too far in. They lose support for bottom laner so far, with Jessica gone and Jack having to run away. A lot of damage. The blast call would save their lives as Vitality.Bee have to scatter. Dragon is up in 40 seconds, so they should have time to reset, but Aggressive who wants to stop that. He can't die them just yet, but he can delay their backs for a couple of seconds.
And a couple of seconds is all it takes. Right? So I do think that right now Vitality is playing a bit too slow in terms of being able to clear this vision out. They need to be a bit quicker to push, like put the pedal to the metal and get into this river, because and not die with 40 seconds left, especially the mispositioning out of Jessica. And that's why I said,
speaking of being caught out, the Inferno Aggressive caught in the middle. There's a big knockup only onto one. The Jack Troll, they're gonna poke them down, but he has to try to get out of it. Now he looks to re-engage, and they manage to stay alive. A clutch flash over the wall by Aggressive, who barely made it out. But the dragon is live. It is here. There are low health bars on the top laner and the jungler. I do not know if they want to fight over this.
Here comes the TP from Aggressive, and I think that this is going to be a full-out brawl for this Drake, because I really do think that Vitality needs to fight for it, because this soul is so important to, but like, if Jinx gets an Infernal Soul, like, if Zico gets an Infernal Soul on this Victor, even on the Ornn, like, that, this composition just goes from 0 to 100ing anybody on your team.
Yeah, definitely big damage profile. Here comes the Ornn onto one. Oh, look at the knockup onto one. The Diplex knocked up. They get the Dragon Shield, takes him, smites it away, but now because the re-engage onto 4 more, a big rocket, but he's a bit too far and Aggressive, and the shockwave onto Shigo as well. The Victor has to flash away. The burn won't get him, but they get the soul, and only losing one on top of it. What a phenomenal trade by BDSA, as they want to try to maybe get more, but they'll have to reset. Really well done.
I really hope we get a replay of that fight, because that was very well played from both sides, actually. I mean, BDSA did get the better end, as they did get the Drake, but it was very well played from both sides of these both teams. So I hope we do get the replay.
Yeah. As you were saying, Ray, it was really set up by both sides, and I find Aggressive being able to TP back in time was a big setup. So you saw as well, they're waiting for the cooldown on his Ornn to come in before doing anything at all. And although he'll be able to knock up onto one, which is why I find in this meta, long range engage, reliable one at that, alongside the back of RCC, can be such a game changer, especially when you're up against these very short-range AD carries. Now, you're mentioning on the side of Vitality, you know, with the composition being much more burst-focused, although they can trade pretty evenly if the fight goes a little bit longer. But as you said before, especially with the Shockwave too, you have to try to capitalize on the big team fight too, and Skeens has to be able to get in as the big ball delivery system, because if they're not able to do so, Shockwave doesn't land, then the damage might not be as prominent, especially up against all these big techie boys, especially Aggressive Wu on BDSA, and him being that big boy on the front line has definitely dissuaded a fair amount of single picks going to the side of Vitality as they look towards Baron.
But once again, this vision out of BDSA is actually incredible. It is something that in your solo queue games, you better get your teammates on board if you want to win. Because this is actually anything that they want, they have control over the river. Like you said, Crown, what was it that Crown Shot said? He said that he's not pushing past anything that doesn't have vision. And he's probably not going anywhere past this river because it doesn't have a ward. But this is very controlled play out of BDSA, and like we said, this was the test that Vitality was going to come up against.
And like you're saying, right, they've been doing a pretty good job of trying to capitalize on much as they can, although they lost a pretty unfortunate fight around the soul. Although, you know, BDSA in the 5v5s, you definitely have an advantage. I do like what Vitality is doing, right? They're taking advantage of the push from Agenda, considering how fast he able to clear all these waves, and they managed to get all the way up to the base as well. On the back of it too, they managed to clear out mid, so map control slowly being opened a lot more for Vitality. They have 5 towers at this point, so a lot more options based on how they want to move around the map. But the real win condition has to be, they have to make sure they keep pressure in at least one lane. If they're not able to do that, then you know, BDSA will easily find a 5v5 and the Vitality will be wiped off the map.
Yeah, and if Shigenda does lose his teleport at an unfortunate time by going into the wrong fight where they don't find any picks, that will be the time when I do think BDSA will pull the trigger and they will move into Baron because they will have teleport advantage. But he has Spellbook, and there's a Victor, but he does have teleport. So I do think that teleport timing is going to be very important for the side of BDSA to be watching and for Vitality to not make a mistake, because this composition with the Infernal Soul can burst that Baron down extremely quickly, and that is something that this Vitality comp has to be very worried about.
For sure, yeah, because you see alongside the back of the Karma and Crown Shot being able to put out a ton of damage, Jika with the burst and shield as well with the consistent DPS on the Xin Zhao, right? A ton of big capitalizing options in terms of bursting down neutral objectives, right? That's all the high DPS that you have, something that is not necessarily present on the side of Vitality. It's a lot of burst, like we talked about before. Jactrol looks for one as the cannon barrel as well. A big team fighting tool taken out. Lands the Q, but they will not go in on a Skeens. Knows it's far too deep, and considering he has the Karma with him, would have been a pick that they gave over by the end of it. So for now, both these teams will continue to fight for a priority around mid. Baron and Elder up into the minute 20 seconds. Baron being up right now, a big objective, especially with both these teams, is look at all that gold on his agenda. My man's been farming.
He has been in the side lane for a minute in that bot, and I think he got 2 turrets
but
in the bot.
But they find one, though. Might be turns a big shockwave in the turn. Aggressive, shield, ground shot, all caught out. Almost all their health bars gone. That was sick by Nightplex to just stop the engage from coming to fruition and saving their lives. The clutch from the Orianna.
Yeah, no Ornhorn there for the side of BDSA. That was a great shockwave. Great timing.
Yeah. For sure, yeah. Like you mentioned, it just immediately stopping just all the DPS from coming in, and considering they're making sure that with ground shot and shield not be able to get in.
That would have been a 3-man knockup if that Ornhorn went through. Like, that is saving your team if I've ever seen it.
For sure. We were mentioning how big of a tool this shockwave can be for Diplex. You were mentioning this Orianna that can be put at saving grace, and all the damage potential that burn is definitely showing off Vitality. One of the other keeps staying in the game. They might have found one to stun onto the other. Jactrol staying alive for a little bit. Zico with a clutch stopwatch, make sure it doesn't get blown up. So but they'll just trade cooldowns. By the end of it, nothing super significant. The knockup won't land up from Aggressive either as they look towards Elder Dragon. Ornhorn up in a couple of seconds. Shio might be caught out, has to flash away. But then another shockwave too. They get 3 more, but there's no one to capitalize on it. The cannon barrage and aggressive Wu is yet again far too deep. He'll be the sacrificial lamb now. BDSA has to look for a potential steal in a 4v5.
What a turnaround right there from Vitality. They have decided that they do not want to lose a single game, and they are just putting the pedal to the metal and playing a little bit faster, like I said, I think they needed to do, and they are pulling the trigger when they see an opening. Like, that was a giant shockwave onto 3 people, locking them up.
Moves up for the 20 seconds. Do you see they immediately go to the one? Shio's a bit too deep. Now he's gone, and so is one more. Although they only get the Leona out of it too. There's so little health on the Baron. Oh my God, the dragon! He takes away Skeens, confirms a smite for a BDSA go down. What a big turnoff for Vitality. They were down for so long. That's such long timers on 4 members of BDSA, locked in a corner, just aggressive Wu to try to keep them in, but there's a wave. Vitality are looking for the end here, Enya.
I mean, they can, and they do have the Elder buff, and like, if you go down below a, what is it, 15 or 28% HP, you will die, but the Ornhorn is back up again, and it looks like, oh, there goes the shutdown onto the Varus, but I don't think they are going to end the game here. I do think it might have been a mistake to actually go for that with such low health bars. Are we ever going to get a replay?
I hope so, but let's see what we do right now for BDSA. Zico must find one. There we go. That's
there was another shutdown.
That's another shutdown.
Oh,
going over BDSA.
Looks like a Baron.
Vitality, they thought they could end it. Aggressive was a little bit too strong, and now they're looking to shut them down. Big timers on both ends. Should have possibly caught out under the cannon barrage. Looking for the trade on Aggressive Wu. He dashes out. Aggressive Wu stays alive, and 2 more members of Vitality die. They keep doing it. That's the Baron this time for BDSA as they continue to stay alive in this game.
I mean, I really do think that was a mistake from Vitality to try to end the game right there. I do think they should have gone towards Baron. With those long death timers, I think they could have bursted it down and then maybe go for take a reset and end the game. But instead now, BDSA does have the Baron, and they are taking away all these jungle camps. So, you know, that's never a good thing. And putting down Vision, always a good thing. And pushing in the mid wave. And as you can see, once again, Ornn back in the side lanes. And these are super minions in the bot lane, so he is about to get a lot of XP very quickly to upgrade these items for his teammates.
Yeah, for sure, like you mentioned, already level 16, so, you know, all those ornaments should definitely come out pretty soon. We already do see one on his Zico as well, which is quite nice. And just the back and forth in terms of gold graphs, right? Vitality had a really big fighter on Elder, and them getting aggressive was such a nice turn. And especially on the back of it, too, Jack Troll also finding one more, too, to make sure to capitalize on the shield. He really well set up pick, and with them losing to BDSA, we thought they were out of it. But looking at one more now, Skeens takes a little bit of damage. Aggressive Wu, not the assassin.
He doesn't really care.
Yeah, but
he's not taking any damage.
He's ignoring, right? He'll ignore just so much coming at his direction. And with Zika on his backside,
there goes another
pushing the wave. They're now 4-man up in the bot lane, and with Shio looking to push in on the bottom tower.
Aggressive Wu actually does not care. He will walk through that cannon barrage and just tank damage.
But Shio might be caught out though. There we go. There's the one, the redemption, potentially save him as he looks for the turn as one knock up onto 2, but potentially the turn from Vitality, but they cannot find their way inside the fight. BDSA will manage to walk it out and continue pushing these side lanes.
I do think that right now the gold does seem a bit even, but in terms of the Infernal Soul and between the Ornn items, I do think that BDSA is about 2k, maybe 3k gold ahead in terms of gold compared to Vitality with the Infernal Soul and these ornaments coming through. So you do need to be aware of that when you are taking the gold into account. It might seem even, but it's not.
BDSA, like you said, very far ahead. The Baron, they got 2 inhibitors out of it, trading back and forth with a 1-4 split push, opening up the base of Vitality and looking for any missteps. The next Elder is up in 2 minutes, and then potentially catching out. Either one of these teams could be really nice. BDSA wants to definitely set up their first. Vision not super hefty to either, but if they want to reset, now would be the time. And Vitality, they need this Elder if they are to try to stay in the game and get a potential turn. Their inhibitor on the side of BDSA should be popping up very, very soon. But that bot side push should be decently even for now, as both of them have been taken out.
This vision in the Vitality bottom jungle is very important to be cleared out by the side of Vitality before they go anywhere near this Drake. Otherwise, once again, with the Oran Horn coming in from a range, he needs vision to see where they are. So that vision needs to go. And once again, they are setting up wards just coming off spawn. They are incredible when it comes to the vision. Like, they do not want to go anywhere without, look, another word. They don't want to go anywhere that they cannot see what is happening. And that is exactly what I think someone needed to do to, if they are gonna beat Vitality. I'm not calling it yet, but I'm saying that this game is very convincing at this moment in time. Like,
like you're saying, initially we did see that we did say looking to just push more and more of these lanes as a grouped up as 5. We did mention that the 5v5 right now for BDSA with Infernal Soul is disgusting. What they could do off of it. With Shield taking advantage of that. No vision. They got a flash out by the end of it. There's the Oran Horn 2 on the backside. And Diplex should be gone. And Jessica as well is the next target. 2 big carries. As that's one after the other. BDSA. It looked a little bit hairy in the back end of it. You were thinking maybe they were gone. But Vitality got a big fight. But aggressive Wu picks himself back up. Big Oran Horn. Knock up onto the main targets, and Shield and Crown Shot lay down disgusting amounts of damage. Big Crown Shot on the big Jinx. One rocket after the other, as now they look towards getting their game. BDSA will go 4-1 in week 3.
I'm not telling I told you so or anything, but I knew these teams are coming out of this both 4-1.